The night wind whispered through the raffia roofs. The moon hung low above the village like a silent witness. Children sat around a small fire, their eyes fixed on an old man whose face carried the wrinkles of countless seasons. He leaned on his carved walking stick and stared into the flames. "Grandchildren." His voice was calm. "There are stories that die with men." The children moved closer. "And there are stories that refuse to die." A shiver traveled through the night. The old man swallowed slowly. "This is the story of a prince who loved a poor girl, and an oath that almost destroyed 2 kingdoms. The fire crackled. Far away, an owl cried. The old man continued. "Many rainy seasons ago, around the 1950s, when the ancient clans of Igbo land still held tightly to old traditions, there lived a prince named Obinna. He lowered his voice, and what happened to him remains one of the greatest mysteries ever told." The kingdom of Omuiga was prosperous. Its king, Iznaji, was respected throughout the neighboring lands. He was wise. He was generous. And he had only one son, Prince Obinna. Young women admired him. Warriors respected him. Elders praised him. Yet Obinna carried a secret. Every market day, he slipped away from the palace. Not to hunt, not to train, not to meet chiefs. He went to see Adaez, a poor farmer's daughter. Her family owned no large farmland, no title, no influence. Yet she possessed something greater, a heart so pure that even strangers trusted her after a single conversation. Obinna loved her deeply, and Adaez loved him just as fiercely. For years they met beneath an ancient idala tree hidden beyond the village stream. There they shared dreams. There they laughed. There they planned a future neither kingdom nor tradition had approved. One evening rain clouds gathered above them. Thunder growled in the distance. Adaez looked into his eyes. "Promise me something." Obinna smiled. "Anything. If one day power separates us." Her voice trembled. "Will you still choose me?" The prince held her hands. Without hesitation, without fear. "I swear." They walked to the sacred river. The same river where their ancestors made covenants. There they cut their palms. Their blood touched the water. The river carried it away. And together they spoke an oath. No throne, no wealth, no kingdom will separate our hearts. The wind suddenly rose. The water swirled strangely. Even the birds abandoned the trees. But young lovers rarely fear warnings. They returned home believing nothing could stand against their promise. They were wrong. Very wrong. Months later, troubling news arrived. Neighboring kingdoms were growing stronger. Whispers of conflict spread across the land. King Iznaji feared future wars. He desired peace, not for himself, for his people. So he began seeking alliances. Among all neighboring rulers, one stood above the rest. King Odom of Nkwel, powerful, wealthy, feared. The alliance would secure decades of peace. One afternoon the two kings met. Palm wine flowed. Drums echoed. Negotiations lasted for hours. Then came an agreement. A marriage. Prince Obinna would marry Princess Nkum, King Odom's only daughter. The alliance was sealed. The kings celebrated. The elders rejoiced. Messengers spread the news. But nobody informed Obinna. The prince learned of his future marriage from village gossip. The world around him froze. His heart pounded. His breathing became heavy. That evening he confronted his father. "You promised me without asking me." The king looked surprised. "Son, this alliance protects thousands of lives. I already love someone." The king's expression hardened. Love does not feed kingdoms. It does not prevent wars. It does not protect people. Obina's voice shook. "I made an oath." The king stood. "And I made one too." Silence swallowed the room. Father and son stared at each other, neither willing to surrender, neither realizing the storm that had already begun. Days later, Princess Nkam arrived. She was unlike what many expected. She was intelligent, strong-willed, and frighteningly observant. She immediately noticed Obina's coldness, his distant eyes, his forced smiles. One evening she followed him secretly. The moon guided her path. What she discovered changed everything. She saw him, Enida as, together beneath the odala tree, holding hands, speaking softly, loving openly. Nkam stood hidden among the bushes. The truth struck her like a spear. The prince loved another woman. Most princesses would have exposed them. Most princesses would have demanded obedience. Nkam did something unexpected. The next morning she approached Idayaz alone. No guards, no servants, no threats. The two women sat beneath a mango tree. For a long moment neither spoke. Then Nkam asked quietly, "Do you love him?" Idayaz nodded. "More than my own life." The princess lowered her gaze. "And does he love you?" Idayaz smiled sadly. "Enough to destroy himself." Something broke inside Nkam, because she too had fallen in love with the prince. Not because of his title, because of his kindness, his honesty, his courage. For the first time in her life, no, not the first, for the only time she had truly loved anyone. And now she faced an impossible truth. 3 hearts, 1 destiny. Someone would suffer, perhaps everyone. The wedding preparations continued. Drums echoed across kingdoms. Dancers arrived. Guests traveled from distant lands. Yet strange events began occurring. Animals disappeared. Sacred shrines cracked. Crops withered overnight. Elders became alarmed. Diviners were summoned. The oldest diviner entered a trance. Hours passed. Then he opened his eyes. Terrified. The river remembers. The gathering fell silent. The oath has been broken. Fear spread through the crowd. The diviner continued. 2 souls swore before the ancestors. If that covenant is destroyed, suffering will follow. The king dismissed it as superstition. The wedding plans continued. Then disaster struck. A mysterious illness swept through the kingdom. Children became weak. Farmers collapsed. Even warriors fell sick. Panic consumed Omuigu. The king summoned every healer. Nothing worked. Night after night the sickness spread. Then one evening the old diviner returned. He pointed directly at the king. "You cannot force destiny." The king's face paled. For the first time doubt entered his heart. What if the ancestors truly rejected the marriage? What if his promise had awakened something beyond human power? The kingdom stood at the edge of ruin, and time was running out. 3 nights before the wedding, a secret meeting occurred. the king, the prince, Adaias, Princess Income, and the diviner. A single lantern illuminated the room. The old diviner spoke. Someone must make a sacrifice. Everyone listened. The oath demands truth, not blood, not death. Truth. Silence lingered. Then something happened nobody expected. Princess Income stood. Tears filled her eyes. Yet her voice remained steady. I release him. The room froze. The king stared in disbelief. The prince could not speak. Income smiled sadly. A marriage built on suffering will destroy both kingdoms. She turned toward Adaias. You already possess his heart. Then she faced the king. Let peace be built upon honesty, not coercion, not sacrifice. Honesty. The king lowered his head. The weight of pride finally broke. For the first time he saw the damage his decision had caused. Slowly he rose. Then he did something no one imagined. He canceled the wedding. The alliance was nearly destroyed. Yet Princess Income proposed a different solution. Trade, shared resources, mutual protection. No forced marriage, only cooperation. The two kings agreed. Within weeks the mysterious illness vanished. The crops recovered. The shrines became peaceful again. The kingdom healed. Months later Obina married Adaias beneath the ancient idol tree. No grand palace, no golden throne, only love, only truth, only an oath finally honored. As for Princess Income, years later she became one of the greatest rulers her kingdom ever knew. Was respected, beloved. Many said her strength came from a heartbreak she transformed into wisdom. The old man fell silent. The fire burned lower. The grandchildren stared at him. One finally whispered, Grandfather, was the curse real? The old man smiled. A mysterious smile. The kind that belonged to people carrying secrets to their graves. He looked toward the darkness beyond the fire. Perhaps. The children waited. But the real curse, he tapped his walking stick gently against the earth, is when people betray their own hearts. The wind moved through the trees. The fire crackled softly. And somewhere in the distance, an owl cried again. The old man gazed into the night, as though he could still see the prince, the poor girl, the princess, and the oath that almost changed the fate of two kingdoms.
Apone koma bago